Could 2025 be a very special year for Algorand? Hypothetically, I think so because Algo, its native token, reaching the price of $5, that wouldn't surprise me whatsoever, even though that's not financial advice. But some people may be thinking, okay, why 2025 more specifically? Why do you say this year? Again, the reason is because I've taken a look back in history, and history, even though it doesn't always repeat itself, there has been some tendencies where it does tend to rhyme. And you got to think about this. We know that the last Bitcoin halving event happened back in April of 2024. And usually, as a worst case scenario, historically speaking, altcoins, they typically peak around 18 months after a Bitcoin halving event. Now, if we do some simple math, 18 months from, again, April of 2024 would be around October of this year. So when you think about that, 2025 hypothetically could be a very special year. Only time will tell. Now, again, this is not like a set date. I'm not guaranteeing anything. Now, things could happen maybe a little bit later, a little bit sooner. But if anything, again, I think this gives a good benchmark as to when we could very well see things happen in a massive way. And why would it not? You take a look at the trajectory of Bitcoin. It's looking very positive. And even if we take a look at a very reputable individual in the crypto space, Charles Hoskinson, who not only is the founder of Cardano, but the co-founder of Ethereum, he does predict that in the next 1 or 2 years, based on a video that he was a part of back in November of 2024, he said that he could very well see Bitcoin within that time frame reaching anywhere between $250,000 all the way up to $500,000. Now, if let's say we use his best case scenario timeline and worst case scenario price target, so basically, again, best case scenario timeline a year, November from 2024 would be November of this year, and worst case scenario price target would be $250,000. If Bitcoin were to do that, let's say, if Bitcoin were to reach 250 grand this year, Algo at the price of $5 at that point may seem a little bit bearish in my opinion. Now, only time will tell, but I don't see why Algorand won't be a big narrative during this bull run because after all, Algorand is one of the best layer 1 blockchains out there. I would arguably say of all time because let's face it, the problems that Ethereum has, the problems that Solana has, it's just not present when it comes to Algorand. And it's not like Algorand is this small layer 1 blockchain that no one really knows. It's pretty well established. And again, it has better fundamental qualities as opposed to something like Solana or Ethereum. And let me explain why. Because you take a look at, for instance, Ethereum has sky-high gas fees and it's arguably not even scalable. Now, what can combat this? Layer 2s for Ethereum. But that's kind of messy, for what? I'm not talking about Messi, the soccer player. I'm talking about like actually being messy. I think sometimes in the crypto space, enterprises, they don't want to deal with like blockchain technology that's randomly overly complicated for no reason. I think when they adopt something new, they want it simple, easy, and fluid. So why deal with these layer 2s, in my opinion? Even though some will, but I do believe that, again, it's more so geared towards the retail side, and not to mention Ethereum as a layer 1 blockchain just isn't perfect. And now it only makes sense to launch back then, but still, I think it just loses out to something like Algorand. Now let's take a look at Solana. Solana, in terms of speed, in terms of being, very low cost, in terms of transaction fees, that right there, I think, is pretty much tomato when it comes to Algorand. But what does Algorand win in this case? It's the fact that when it comes to Solana, it has historically been known for its notorious network outages, even at 1.8 in a year, allegedly. Now, granted, it's hypothetically been fixed, but we don't know about the long term. So when you take a look at Solana, those unreliability issues, you just don't see that with Algorand. Now, again, Algorand isn't necessarily better in terms of fans or hype, but in terms of reliability, I think it does beat out Solana. Now, again, people may think that, oh yeah, but you know what? Solana has this mass scale adoption. Well, no, it doesn't. In my opinion, at least, because if you take a look at its ecosystem, it's primarily known for meme coins. That doesn't mean it has good adoption. Now, it means it has good meme coins. It's a good place for meme coins, right? Like, for instance, I'm bullish on Myro, I'm bullish on Moneki. I like Solana meme coins in some cases, but it doesn't necessarily mean that Solana has the best adoption. Now, when you take a look at Algorand, does it have the best adoption either? No, but again, reliability is there. So I think it pretty much beats Solana in that aspect. Now, it's not like the reliability issue is going to be the biggest aspect as to why Algorand wins. I think in terms of also adoption, even though again, Algorand isn't the best, it is heading up there. It's heading in the right direction because keep in mind, Algorand is currently the technology of choice for over 2,000 global organizations. So that's ridiculous and insane. Let's be real. I mean, when you think about something like that, even despite not being the best out there, that's very impressive for a project much like Algorand that's kind of under the radar. Because sometimes when I ask people, hey, what's a good layer one blockchain? They say, oh, we like Solana, we like Ethereum. Also, sometimes people like to say, oh, they acquired BNB, but rarely do people ever mention, oh, it's Algorand. And again, it's going to take some time, but great things do take time and patience. And again, I think Algorand is very underrated in that aspect where it's not really considered one of the big dogs yet, but I think it could be. Now, also, let's take into consideration Algorand is allegedly fully carbon neutral. And people may think, okay, this is very fancy, who cares? Basically, what that means is that it's very environmentally friendly. Now, why does this matter? A lot of enterprises nowadays, they care about the environment. They want to go green. They want to adopt new technology that actually suits this mindset. And Algorand, they understand that, which is why they are environmentally friendly. They are carbon neutral again, after all, allegedly. So when I take a look at something like Algorand, this does fit the need of what a layer one blockchain is supposed to be in this day and age. And also, it's well suited for future adoption because let's face it, something like this, I think, is purpose-built for enterprise adoption. Again, it's not going to see it though in the next 6 months to a year, but it doesn't really matter because people usually care about perceived adoption. They care about what something could be as opposed to what it already is. We see many metaverse projects, gaming projects, NFT projects, even DeFi projects, whatever the case may be, right? They never launch anything, but then they do very well. Why? It's because they have good perceived adoption and also they have good perceived performance. Like people think, oh, it could do well in the future, which is why they believe in it. And then they acquire the native token in some cases. So when it comes to Algorand, again, it has good perceived adoption. And I think it has the recipe for success during this bull run because we've seen time and time again, layer one blockchains that are fundamentally amazing, have a good fan base. Also, its native token listed in a bunch of major exchanges. And also, last but not least, having good perceived adoption. We've seen them time and time again do very well. Take a look at what happened to Solana, BNB. Take a look at, for instance, Ethereum. When it comes to Algorand's native token called ALGO, I don't see why it won't be the next big one. And people, they usually move with trends. They usually latch onto narratives. And I think people are oftentimes constantly looking for the next best layer one blockchain. And I think Algorand could very well be that. And I do believe that, but many people may not believe it yet. Hypothetically, maybe, who knows? But I do believe that Algorand could be a big narrative during this bull run. Now, ALGO going to the price of $5, keep in mind, considering current circulating supply, market cap would be around $42 billion. So that's not even too bad. That's still over $60 billion less than BNB's all-time high market cap. And why do I use BNB? You take a look at, according to Crypto.com research, back in 2023, slightly over 2% of the crypto hacks that happened actually occurred on the BNB smart chain ecosystem. That's not great. Now, again, if something like BNB can reach over $100 billion in market cap, why can't ALGO at least go to a market cap that is over $60 billion less than that? That's just the way I take a look at it. Especially right now, you have over 600 million crypto owners according to Crypto.com research, more than ever before in history. I highly doubt that this bull run is going to be bad. Now, keep in mind, $5 is around a 12x from here. So it's not the best upside from here on out, but considering how much ALGO has pumped, which I predicted exactly to a T, by the way, even though there's a slight pullback, but who cares? Because that's only normal on the way up. But even besides that, considering how much it has went up, doing an additional hypothetical 12x from here, it doesn't seem too bad in my opinion. And again, 2025, I think could be a very special year for ALGO. I'm staying patient. Anytime an income, I'm still acquiring ALGO, holding and just waiting because I do believe in the future of Algorand. And I think this year could be something so special. However, only time will tell. This is only a hypothetical scenario, but I'm staying patient and I'm very bullish on Algorand. And make sure to subscribe if you gain value from this video. I'd greatly appreciate it. It's only the captain, and I'll catch y'all on the next one. I'm out. Peace. Bye.